Hey everyone, welcome to Northwoods Mile Railroad. This is part two, kind of an addition to my camera gear rail fanning setup. We're talking about rail fanning in the mountains. We're north of Durango here at Rockwood, and if I wanted to, I could hike for 6 hours. I'd like to eventually plan a trip where I hike in and camp overnight, just to be able to be set up in some good spots and take my time. And there's lots of guys that do that, going out to Montana, Idaho. You have to hike in to get some amazing shots. But what makes sense to bring with you? It's not just a bottle of water, and your camera. You gotta kind of think with a little bit of a preparedness mindset, a hiking mindset, wilderness survival, maybe a little bit. You can overdo it, but then you're gonna have a second bag or something. But we're gonna kind of go over some of the basics of what I just keep with me at all times, just because you never know what's gonna happen. But we're gonna go get set up and then kind of rip my bag apart and see what we got. So here we are at track level. This may not look steep, but we're going up a ways. And I'm only 15-minute walk from the truck, right? And we'll cover this in a minute, but man, what if I fall on a rock and hurt myself, break a leg, or hit my head? You have to plan for anything, and that's a worst case scenario, obviously, and it probably won't ever happen, but I gotta be able to get out of here, and I usually don't have cell phone service, so let's see where we want to set up. All right, so we didn't come up too far, but there's some rocks and anything can happen, especially if the weather's not as good. Wintertime can be a little bit sketchy, especially even just walking on train tracks. And obviously you don't recommend that on a main line, but the Durango Silverton is private property. I have permission to come out here, and most people have permission to walk up the train tracks. And that's really the only way to access anything out here, because this is National Forest. So once you get past that sign back there, National Forest sign, it's public land. But yeah, anything can happen, and especially in the mountains here. One thing I was mentioning at the start, it's going to rain tonight, which this is a pretty well forecasted storm, but in the summertime, it rains in Silverton every afternoon just about, and it kind of just comes out of nowhere. So you got to be ready for anything with your gear, and we'll get into it. So obviously camera bag, you got cameras. Get a big enough bag for the things you need. You don't have to fill it, right? And mine is full because I got some big gear, completely unnecessary for the most part. But I don't keep things in here that I'm not using. Like, I'll take extra lenses out if I don't plan on using them. If you're only taking pictures, you might want to have it in case you see that one shot that you can only get with that lens, right? But I'll just start off first aid kit. I've never had to use one really, but you never know what's going to happen. So that's just a pack that's kind of got, we'll go over it, may as well. This is more like a military type of first aid kit, but it really does apply for any type of trauma. It's called a trauma kit, individual first aid kit, trauma kit. You got wound dressings, bandages, chest seal, which I'm not planning on getting shot out here, but just different bleeding control stuff, tourniquet. There's stories about guys getting their legs stuck in a rock and you gotta saw the thing off, right? I hope that doesn't happen to anybody, but why not? This is small, it's compact, self-contained. Strap it on your backpack. If you got extra room in your bag and you don't have something you can strap it to, put it in your bag, whatever. It doesn't take up that much space, and it actually can definitely compress a lot more than it is. That's that. You know, you can find these on Amazon. A lot of times those are lesser quality products, like lesser quality material that comes with it, and the bag might not be nice. This is probably an Amazon cheapie. This is just random survival stuff. Okay, plastic bag, that should be in with the camera stuff because it's more so for covering a camera if it rains. I just got a million things laying around. It's like, throw it all in the bag. I don't need a compass. I don't ever get lost, but you know, why not? This for the food I didn't bring with me. I'm not bringing food with me, but it's a tool that can be used for something, whatever. This is just stuff people gave me or whatever. Paracord's not a bad idea. I mean, you could. And what are we planning for? Okay, worst case scenario, right? I get stranded out here because I'm injured and I can't get out. Or rainstorm, and what if, there's mudslides up here all the time. You never know what happens. What if you can't get through? Or maybe it's to help somebody else, right? What if they need something from your first aid kit and you just happen to have it with you? Doesn't hurt. Flashlight, paracord. This is stuff because I have a poncho. I think I showed that in the last video. I could make a shelter, right, if I needed to. Staying dry, warm, and having clean water, that'll get you far out here. Extra socks. Nobody wants to get their feet wet and then have wet socks. That can lead to issues. These are just more stuff. Oh, here's a cool one. No, this is I bought intentionally for this. It's all the stuff I had laying around. This is like a fishing hook kit. So if you need to feed yourself, and that's long-term survival, but why not? It's just more tools. Space blanket. So it's just warmth, right? And obviously we got matches. We got there we go. Got a lighter, got some of these little fire starting things. They start real easy when they're wet. Sometimes finding dry timber can be tough. I got dryer lint that starts fires real easy. And I'm not planning on being so far away I'm going to be lost in the mountains for a week, right? But it's possible an overnight. And weather changes quickly. It'll snow in June out here, especially once you get a little higher up. So I think that's really all I have for survival stuff. Obviously, you want to have water. I've just got a water bottle. Plan for how long you're going to be gone. I'm sure there's science on how much water you need for how many hours of exerting energy. I don't know the science, but I haven't even had a sip. I've been gone for 2 hours, so whatever. But at least something to hold water, because these creeks up here are pretty clean, so you could drink it, but you do want to be careful drinking unfiltered or unsterilized water, right? But this just might be some stuff you guys haven't thought of. It's interesting. It's survival. Just plan like you're going on a long hike, okay? You might want to have something to start fire in case you get stranded. You might want to have a poncho in case it starts raining. You might want to have extra water in case it's hot and you're sweating and you're going up more hills than you thought. A first aid kit can come in handy for anything. You cut yourself or you seriously injure yourself. It depends on how far you're going. If you're going way out there somewhere, you might want to have a satellite phone. It depends on how worried you are. But if something happens, you don't have cell service, and you're a 2-day hike out in the middle of nowhere, you got to be able to get a helicopter to you or something, right? That's extreme. This is all extreme, but preparedness is planning for the worst. And that's really all there is to it. So, get a good bag. Leave some extra space for things like this. It doesn't hurt. Your camera gear is important, but it's not as important as your life. Plan ahead. This is all fun, but it doesn't matter if you don't come out, So you want a good camera bag that's not going to allow your stuff to be damaged if you fall on a rock and drop your bag or whatever. but it's also just equipment. It can be replaced. So good shoes, layers, depending on the time of year, but weather changes quickly up here, and you got to plan for that. One other thing I almost forgot, depending on the time of year, think about wildlife, okay? There's bears out right now. It's early spring. It's actually mid-spring at this point, and it's been warm for a while, so they're out. Bear spray or gun, should have something with you. You're walking, you're hiking, you sneak up on stuff like that easily. Depends on where you are. Plan for animals and different wildlife. Being able to protect yourself is an important thing. Alright guys, I'm ready to head out. This tripod's rough. Gotta figure out a better way to carry that. But just to recap, you always want a way to stay warm and dry. You want to prepare for any injuries and prepare to protect yourself. You know, it depends on how far you're going, but that can be very important. Life-saving stuff to know. So, appreciate you guys watching. Catch you on the next one. Toilet paper. Always make sure you got toilet paper. That's not something you don't want to have.